classmates, Namaskar. I am Partha Ghosh from the Vedic IQ, thrilled to continue our quest for wisdom through the wonderful tales of Panchatantra. Kids, as we saw in the previous videos, Damnak the jackal has been cooking an evil plan. And what is his plan? To ignite a conflict between the lion and the bull. The bull Sanjeevak was very upset that the lion did not want him anymore. He was sure that some servant of the lion might have turned the lion against him. But before diving into this interesting tale, we will explore another little story of a swan and an owl. When the bull Sanjeevak got to know the evil intents of his friend the lion, he cried as he said, "I don't know what wrong did I do to the king, but I blame none. It was my own fault to befriend the lion. I made the same mistake as did the swan when he befriended the owl." And so, the bull told the story of the swan and the owl. This tale begins on the banks of a beautiful forest lake. The clear water of the lake shone like a glass. Here lived a majestic swan. His feathers were as pure and white as the fresh snow. Each morning, the swan would glide across the tranquil lake, leaving ripples in his wake. The isolated swan led a peaceful yet uneventful life in his lovely home. He never saw any reason to leave the lake or befriend other creatures. Speaking of a swan, dear kids, can you tell me the swan is considered the carrier of which Hindu goddess? Is it A. Lakshmi, B. Saraswati, or C. Durga? Go ahead and choose your answer. The correct answer, as you guessed, is B. Saraswati. Goddess Saraswati is also regarded as the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. Anyway, back to the story. One sunny afternoon, while the swan was napping on the mossy bank, he was startled by a sudden fluttering. An enormous owl landed beside the swan and folded his great wings. "Greetings, friend swan," said the owl in a sweet voice. "I am honored to meet a bird of such elegance and virtue." The swan smiled, flattered by the charming owl's words. "I would be delighted to have a companion. Please stay as long as you wish," said the lonely swan. At first, the two birds kept each other amused, telling stories and gossiping about the forest dwellers. But after some weeks, it became clear that they were very different. While the swan lived in the sunlight darting across the sparkling lake, the mysterious owl only appeared at sunset with eyes glinting in the gloom. He slept all the day in a dark cave. Dear kids, let us pause for a question. Why do you think did the owl appear only after sunset? Is it A. because he needed to study during the day, B. because he looked ugly during the day, or is it C. because the owls are nocturnal, which means that they only come out in the dark? Take your time and choose your answer. The correct answer is C, because the owls are nocturnal, which means that they only come out in the dark. Moving on with the story. One day, the owl said, "Dear friend, you must come and visit my home, the lotus grove. I would like to show you my home." The swan hesitated. In all his many years, he had never left his beloved lake. But curiosity and vanity got the better of the aging swan. "A change of scenery might lift my spirits," the swan decided. The swan flew a long way, over mountains and rivers, before landing gracefully amidst the tangled trees of the lotus grove. It was getting dark. "My dear friend, where are you?" wondered the swan as he searched through the dense forest. After a while, the swan finally found the owl in a hole of an old tree beside the lake. "Welcome, welcome. So pleased you could come," said the owl, blinking sleepily. But he made no motion to emerge from the darkness. And why did he not come out? Because it was still bright, and do you remember? The owls are nocturnal. Anyway, as the daylight faded, the nocturnal owl finally came out of the tree and showed his home to the swan. They went around seeing the forest, the lake, the valley, and everything. When the darkness deepened, the swan became quite tired from his long journey. He wanted to sleep. So both the birds came back to the owl's tree and the swan slept beside the tree. Just near that lake, a troop of soldiers made a camp. At the dawn of the next day, just when the troop was about to restart their journey, the leader of the troop blew a conch. The stupid owl replied to the conch with a loud, harsh hoot. The ear-splitting hoot of the owl startled the troop. The leader of the troop shouted at once, "That's an ill omen!" He ordered his archer to shoot towards the frightening sound. And the arrow whizzed through the leaves. Whom do you think the arrow might have hit? Well, the sharp arrow pierced through the long, graceful neck of the swan. His white feathers were stained crimson as his life ebbed away. This was the story of the swan and the owl. After telling this story, Sanjeevak said to Damnak, "The swan lost his life by foolishly placing his trust in a false friend, and I made the same mistake." Kids, in the next video, we will dive into the story of the camel and how he got killed by his savior, the lion. Until then, stay wise and healthy, and remember, choose your friends very cautiously. Goodbye, Namaskar.